Pope Francis today became the first pope to visit Ireland in nearly 40 years. Francis says he shares the pain, shame, and outrage caused by the church's sex abuse cover-ups. The Catholic Church has been reeling from scandals in France, Australia, and Chile. A report released this month by a Pennsylvania grand jury alleged decades of abuse by hundreds of priests. Jonathan Vigliotti is with the Pope in Ireland.
Pope Francis addressed sex abuse directly in his first speech inside Dublin Castle, saying the church must remove the scourge at whatever moral cost. The failure of the ecclesial authorities, bishops, religious superiors, priests, and others to adequately address these repugnant crimes has rightly given rise to outrage, he said. They were familiar words, some first penned by the Pope in his letter to all Catholics earlier this week. Ireland's Prime Minister, who hosted the Pope, said they weren't enough.
As you've said, there can only be zero tolerance for those who abuse children or facilitate that abuse. And we must now ensure that from words flow actions.
The Pope is making his way down the street in his Pope-mobile. This is one of the most Catholic countries in the world, and he is waving to an Ireland that has seen seismic change in the last 4 decades.
Over that period, Ireland has legalized divorce, gay marriage, and most recently abortion in what some have called referendums against the church. Today's noticeably small crowds, another strong message. When Pope John Paul II visited in 1979, he was greeted by more than 2.5 million faithful.
Young people of Ireland, I love you.
I believed him, and it really meant something to me. And 1.5 years later, I was raped by a priest for the first time. And that continued for 2.5 years.
Colm O'Gorman says he was abused when he was 14 years old.
They have no moral authority because at the highest level of the institution, they colluded with, they facilitated, and they covered up those crimes. And they allowed them to go unchecked.
And this evening, the Pope met privately with several victims of church abuse. Tomorrow, he will say Mass before a crowd of about 500,000 people. Rena, hundreds more are expected to protest.
Jonathan Vigliotti traveling with the Pope. John, thank you.